Good morning. It's actually me after all this time. I am back. I had a little bit of time off, went to Kentucky, and went to visit my husband's father, who's 97 and a half. And we went also to visit my sister Nellie, which most of you have seen already on the video, and went to see my brother Junior. I did not get to see my sister Mary, but we all like to get together every now and then. And it's good for families to be together, really important. But I'm out here on the back porch. I love to come out in the mornings, and you can tell it's early morning. I'm poofy. My eyes are poofy, and I have no makeup on. This is just me. But I'm sitting in the swing, which my sweet husband put together for me, and I love it. I love to come out here early in the mornings, drink my coffee, which is in my favorite orange cup. Those of you who know me know I love the orange cup. But I just wanted to come out for a few minutes and just give you an update, let you know what's going on. I have been thinking a lot about our testimony and how this summer in June, we celebrated 56 years of being married. That's a long time. And it came about, CL was in the Army. It was during the Vietnam era. And he was getting ready to go to the Army, to basic training. And he went in April. And so we got together and we decided to get married in June. He had finished basic training and was getting ready to go to AIT school. And so we got married on the fly on a Saturday morning at the courthouse, which was really something else getting there. It took about an hour to go 20 miles because it's nothing but mountains and curves. And we didn't really have time. My parents didn't get ready to go. My sister Nellie went with a boyfriend she had at that time. But it was all, we had to be in a time crunch because he had to be back for school. So we got married and his brother Ronnie was with us. We rushed back to Maysville. And the next day, Sunday, he got all his gear together and went to Fort Knox and then went to his AIT school. I think which also was at Fort Knox. He stayed there for a long time. And then he went to Germany. So that was in 1968. And it's been a long time, a long season. We were not saved for the first 3 years that we were married. He got into some bad drug problems while he was stationed. And the first 3 years were pretty horrific. You know, we did not live right. We didn't live for the Lord. We didn't do what we were supposed to do. But we stayed together. And then when we got saved, it was a much different story. We started to travel. We sang together, which we're going to do some songs for you in another video. He started to write some original songs, and life was totally different and totally much better. And we started to serve the Lord, which was probably the biggest and most important change of our lives. And things just worked out differently. So during those years, we a lot of times had ups and downs, which you do. A lot of families go through hard times. You know, you go through problems, you go through heartache, heartbreak. I lost my parents. He lost one of his mom. He lost his cousins, his brother. And you go through hard, strange times, you know, difficult times. But you have to rely on the Lord as your strength and your source of peace. And you have to rely on him for your daily bread. A lot of times we start pastoring small little churches, and I remember one I think was like 29 people. And so you don't really make money. You know, you're in the ministry because you love the Lord and you want to do what he has called you to do. And so we would start out with a little bitty church and build it up to maybe 70, 80, 100. And then the Lord would call us to another little church. And we would start all over again. So the kids didn't really grow up with a lot of extras. We never did without. There was never a time in our life that we had a need that God did not meet. You hear airplanes? I live in where there's a military base, and that is the sound of freedom. It's probably an Osprey. We live at the home of the Osprey, and one of our awesome parishioners teaches the pilots, so we're closely connected with the military and absolutely love them. And it's getting ready to be the 4th of July, and we do fireworks and just celebrate our military people. They go through a lot, and like I was saying, in our young days as a couple, and having to do with little, you don't realize how little amount of money these young guys make when they first go in, and they're an E1, E2, E3. They're barely making it. You know, that young families, and that's generally the time that they have their children, and they're trying to get married and have a family. And some of them are just out of high school. You know, they're getting their first car, but they don't make a whole lot of money. But they serve our country. They give our all. They give everything. And we've known several that have given their life. They've given the ultimate sacrifice. And we've had friends who have lost best friends and spouses. We've lost those that come home sadly with PTSD, and their families don't stay together. You know, they can't adjust to the new life, and the young guys sometimes can't come home and adjust to new life. And we have girls that go, and they're on the front line. They put the girls right out there with the guys. They're on the ships. They're in the battle. They're right up front. We have a couple that come to our church that he was severely wounded, and she was in the same convoy with him, helped to save his life. And they ended up getting married and having a family, and they come to our church. So God can do restoration. He can do healing. He can get you through the worst of times, and he can get you through the best of times. But you have to stay closely connected. You have to stay close to the source. And we really believe, and have given our lives to believe, that Jesus Christ is the only answer for people, for families, and he's what gets us through. And so we love him, we serve him. And now I want to show you, I'll give you a little update around the garden. And I hope that you enjoy looking at my plants. They're not lush, and it is not like a big fabulous garden, but I enjoy it. It gives me a little pleasure, it gives me something to do. And I know the motion of this swing is probably making you dizzy, but I'll try to hold still. So I'm going to switch now and show you how my vegetation is doing. So hang on. Okay, I told you I'd show you some vegetation. These are my flowers. They are impatiens, I believe, and a little tiny marigold, which I have a terrible time growing marigolds. I don't understand the problem, but I'm just not doing it right. So I'm going to get up and I'm going to show you around the yard a little bit, if I don't make you dizzy, and show you kind of how it's going a little bit. I've moved some things over here. Also, we have a pile right here that we're getting ready to build a shed, and that'll be in the shed. But I put a tomato plant, and this is a forsythia that I have transplanted, and it is doing very well. And a little grow bag that I'm seeing how it does in this spot with the sun. And down this row, I've created, I came out barefoot and the grass is wet. I created this a little bit new. I had a bunch of Easter lilies, water lilies or whatever they're called, and I just transplanted them over here because I had nothing on this side of the house. And so I think they're doing very well. And this I brought back from my brother Junior's. It is a peony, peony, piney, all those words, which it is, believe it or not, it is, that old board is from part of a gate. They are doing very well. I think they're going to survive. I brought them back from Kentucky, and I kind of gave them a haircut. I cut all the tops of them off, but I think the roots are going to take hold, and it's a plant that keeps coming back every year on its own. So I think it's going to do very well. And then we had a little storm, blew down a bunch of leaves. We had lots of thunder, lightning. Today is cool. It is so beautiful here. It's probably about 70. We have been having the heat wave and dying, but today it's given us a little break. So this is my little garden. I took them out of the pots and I put them into the ground because the pots, they get dried out too quickly. And I keep adding soil to this spot because it's so many roots and such hard ground that it won't really grow anything. So I have some zinnias there in the back and some nasturtiums here in the front. And then I think they always call it a Jacob's ladder, the purple. So I'm hoping, I keep putting soil in there, trying to build it up and make a little garden in that corner. And I think it's doing a little better. First time I tried flowers there, they didn't do anything. They couldn't even grow. And this, I took an old recycled thing and I put a little tomato plant in there, and you can see my little baby green tomato. And I don't see any peppers, but yeah, there's a little baby pepper. So I'm starting to get a few little things, and I got an old wagon, which I love. It brings back memories of my childhood. Running around the yard in Kansas Creek, dumping each other. And that's an old Marvel, the Mustang, that Susan had one like that when she was 3 or 4. That's not the original. I ordered that one from eBay because it was sentimental. So I got him out there pulling the wagon. And these buckets I brought home from Junior's. He got them for me. A water bucket, which I have a dipper. I'll show you my dipper. Oh, and it actually has water in it. Ah! I need to dump that out. It's going to rust out my bucket. But when I was a kid growing up, we had a water bucket and a dipper. That's how we had our water source to drink and use in the kitchen. And that old wash tub I got from Heather's mom, and Junior gave me that other little bucket. That's my lilac, and it is doing awesome. And another Jacob's ladder back there, which gets a really pretty little flower. I don't know if you can see him. A little pink flower, purple flower. So that's doing well. My onions are still pitiful. And my squash is kind of pitiful. And I thought I was planting radishes, and those are beets. So I'll harvest them one day. I'm trying different spots to see how the sun affects them differently. Then I'll know where's the best place to plant them. And this is some more peppers. Jalapenos, which is growing a little. They're still kind of puny, which I put onion seed in there, and so far I got nothing. Cucumber is doing pitiful. Onions are pitiful. And now this is it says it's a smoking Carolina Reaper. It's getting really tall. I don't know if you can tell by the grow bag, but yeah, it's getting big. And that one's a ghost pepper and a red, no, that's a red ghost pepper. This one is an habanero. And this is my bell pepper, which is doing good. It's supposed to be red in the end. And then a couple more hot peppers. This one's called a jalapeno. It's not supposed to be hot, so we'll see. It's got a little bloom. But they're either really late or they're just puny. My potatoes are starting to die, and I'll dig them one day. But this starts my tomatoes. I have a lot of green ones. These are early girl. This is an early girl that's trying to turn. We've eaten several from here, and they're pretty good. And this is a little sweet 100, and it's got a bunch of little, we called them tomatoes. It's got some down there that are ripe, and they're pretty tasty. They're yellow, so they're ripe. And this one is doing good. I forgot what kind it's called. Oh, I see the sign. It is a Parks Whopper. Parks Whopper Improved. We'll see. It's got several. I could make some fried green tomatoes, and maybe I will. And that one is a Cherokee Purple, so I'm anxious to try that one. This is the first time I've ever grown those, so I'm anxious to see what that tastes like. These are hot banana. See, I was eating a couple of them already, and he said they are pretty hot. And then these are the rest of my jalapenos. I picked them last night. Actually canned a jar of peppers, and we'll see what they taste like. I'm gonna let them sit for a few days. There's a pepper on there somewhere. You can probably see it. Yeah, these are my marigolds. They are doing awesome. And I have started stripping the rest of my porch. I used a product called Deck Over. Don't ever use that product. It was expensive. I got it at Lowe's. It was supposed to be like a plastic that would form a shield on there that would be great. But it bubbles and then it peels. And it is horrendous. I could show you an example over here. This is one where it bubbles and then it just peels right off. It is not good. Not good at all. So I'm having to peel all that off and scrape it. And I think I'm gonna make it a different color. I'm kind of tired of this color. I'm gonna make it gray, I think, for a while, because I'm tired of looking at brown. But that is my new shed right there. And this is my swing, if you can see it. Get out here a little bit. Can't see it because it's dark up there. Okay, that is the latest update. And Lord bless you, keep you. And I will be back to check with you later. It's so beautiful today. Awesome, awesome, awesome day. And here's my woods. It's starting to fill in, and we've had to cut back some trees. I have a mimosa which tries to take over every single thing. Wherever it lands, it wants to make a new tree. I love being able to sit out and look at all the trees. All right, you have a blessed day. Go outside, enjoy the weather. Hope it's not too hot where you are. And I will check back in with you later. God bless.